Pop quiz, gentlemen. In what situation would you wear the following colognes? First up, the classic Terre d'Hermès. Released in 2006 by the House of Hermès, this is considered to be a masterpiece in men's perfumery. And in what situation would you wear Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana? A 2007 classic. For so many guys, a no-brainer. Hence why it's got so many flankers. Or what about the brand new release from Yves Saint Laurent, Myself? It's a crowd-pleasing, four-season fragrance that's easy to wear. So, do these fragrances work best in the office? Or would they better serve you on a casual date? Or maybe there are fragrances out there that are much better for those occasions. What to wear to a holiday party? What to wear out with friends? What about a fragrance that can just help you relax around the house? And are there fragrances that pretty much do everything? You can wear them in any situation. Now, really quick, those three fragrances I covered, it's kind of a trick question. You see, these fragrances, they're all crowd pleasers. They're incredibly versatile. None of them are going to be offensive. And what I also like about them is they're not overly powerful. Now, in some cases, there are variations of them that are much stronger. Right here, we've got the Light Blue Eau Intense, which will last like 3 to 4 times longer than the original. That being said, it also projects a lot more, which in some situations is not a good thing. You're on an airplane, yeah, you don't want to choke people out. So that's why those first three fragrances, I really like them, because you can apply 1 to 2 sprays. When you're first getting started into wearing a fragrance, you should be discovered, not announce yourself when you walk in a room. So yeah, for most of us, in most situations, less is better. That being said, there are particular notes, and this is culture-based, but here in the West, you're going to find that anything that has a strong citrus, for most people, the smell of citrus, in their mind's eye, paints the picture of you being clean. So if you're looking for a fragrance that can do it all, going with a strong lead on the citrus, which right here, Dior Sauvage, this is the Parfum, just recently came out, I think in 2017. I really like this one, an easy go-to if you want a signature scent that you can wear pretty much in any situation. If you're not a citrus fan, another option is to go with a fragrance that has a strong iris or violet note. What those florals are going to do is they're going to give it a very soft, powdery type feel. The fragrance I have right here is a classic out of 2016, Prada's L'Homme. Now, some guys are going to find fragrances like this a bit too feminine, but that's only if you smell a sample on paper. What I highly advise is before you make a choice about a fragrance, especially if you're going to go with a signature scent that you wear in all situations, get samples and wear it multiple times and see how it mixes with your own body chemistry on your skin. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, well, Antonio, that sounds good in theory, but I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to go out there and buy full bottles just to be able to find my signature scent. And gents, I 100% agree. There's no reason the average guy should have this many bottles. So how can a guy date a fragrance? Let's say get a 30-day sample that he can wear before committing to a full bottle. And wouldn't it be nice if a company made it easy to be able to find a fragrance based off of your needs, based off of the occasion, based off of your situation? Well, gents, if I didn't telegraph it enough, that's exactly what today's sponsor, Scentbird, does. Scentbird just sent me some new fragrances, enough in each of these bottles for a full 30-day supply, so 90 days of fragrance right here. First up, we've got Indigo Smoke from Arquiste. My first thoughts of it, it's a beautiful winter fragrance, and I really like the apricot accords. They also sent me Joseph Aboud's Ember. It's another deep cold weather fragrance, and honestly, one I probably normally wouldn't have bought a bottle, and that's what I love about Scentbird, is they help you find and discover new fragrances. But my favorite in the batch, definitely Homage's Search. Gents, they've got hundreds of selections from some of the top brands. And gents, again, as you can see right here from the size of the atomizer, you're going to get over 100 sprays out of this. It's a generous amount that, again, you're going to be able to have time to figure out, is this the right fragrance for me? I've talked about Scentbird for years. I've been out to New York. I've met with these guys. I love how they can help you find the perfect fragrance for you. Use that link in the description of today's video. Go over to Scentbird and check them out. So let's start this off. What to wear to a wedding? Well, an easy pick here is going to be Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme. Now, this is a beautiful, sweet, complex fragrance that is well blended, well put together. It's a classic in menswear. Everybody loves it. The only issue some people have is it doesn't have much staying power. Now, if you're going to be in close with people, that's a great thing. Put on 2 to 3 sprays on the chest. You can maybe apply it later, but this is not going to overpower. That being said, it's an outdoor wedding. You want to smell good and project a bit more. Then go for maybe 5, yes, even 10 sprays. But if you want to project more, then spray on the clothing. Now, what if you don't want to smell sweet? You want to wear something for yourself. You're a bit more refined. You're the father of the bride. You are the godfather. You're the guy, the usher in charge. You want something classic? Check out Chanel's Pour Monsieur. Now, of course, it's a French fragrance, and I probably butchered the pronunciation of it, but I think you guys, if you know your fragrances, this is a classic. Been around since 1955 for good reason. Citrus, aromatic, woody, earthy. This one has the accords. For some of you guys, it's going to be a little bit too old school. For other guys, it's going to be exactly what the doctor ordered. And again, in the same vein, if you like that type of fragrance, but you want something a little bit more modern, check out Beau de Jour by Tom Ford. A beautiful barbershop fragrance. I think a 22-year-old or a 52-year-old can easily pull this thing off. Now, what if it's a black tie wedding? People are all dressed up, they're wearing tuxedos. Then check Armani Code. You can go with the brand new Parfum, or you can go with the under-the-radar A-list. Now, if you've never had your nose on Armani Code, if you've never heard of this fragrance, you are missing out. It is a really unique scent profile. It's hard to explain, but that unique combination really gives us a distinctive smell that just simply works, especially when you're getting dressed up. Now, the Parfum just came out this last year, but the A-list came out, I think, 2017. In my opinion, very similar to the Parfum, maybe just a bit fresher. Now, what if you're the groom? What if you're a groomsman and you want to get lucky? Guys, check out Gentleman by Givenchy. This is going to be their Reserve Privé. When it comes to any of the gentlemen, I don't think you can do wrong. They don't produce a whole lot of superstars, but they are consistently hitting triples, doubles, and Reserve Privé is no slouch. But what sets this one apart from the other gentleman fragrances is going to be that whiskey note. Mixed in with the woody, iris, amber, and powdery accords, this is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. What about a beach wedding? Well, if you got a little bit of money, check out Creed's Virgin Island Water. Absolutely beautiful. And the coconut note is amazing. I also personally love Loewe's Paula's Ibiza. This is a unisex fragrance, so both the women and men, but don't be fooled. This thing is absolutely amazing on a man's skin. Now, what if you're going out to meet the ladies? Well, it's hard to go wrong with Versace Eros, or better yet, Versace Eros Flame. Both of these fragrances project like a and they've got the DNA that the ladies love. And the same can be said about Dior Sauvage. Whether you go with the EDT, whether you go with the EDP, whether you go with the Parfum, you're going to find that these have the DNA, that ambroxan, that just simply women compliment and they like. I find these Parfum versions are a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit better blended. They're going to be more expensive, and it is something, I don't know, there's just something about them. I think they're great, especially for a mature man. That being said, you want something that projects, something that not as many guys are wearing, then check out the Azzaro line. You've got Wanted and The Most Wanted. I take that back. This is actually Wanted by Night. Wanted is a fine fragrance too, but Wanted by Night is going to be a little bit spicier and it works better in the evening. It's also got more projection. And this one's been out for a while, so you can find it at discounters. You can get some great deals on. That being said, The Most Wanted, this is a newer version, came out in 2021, and I like this one even better. Sweet, alluring, intoxicating with good longevity. So if you know your fragrances, you know this is going to be a gourmand, and the ladies love gourmands. Now, speaking of the ladies or guys, if you're out on a date, you want to get close with somebody, then check out The One. This one has been around for a long time for good reason. It has a wide variety of flankers. I would say stick with the original, maybe go with the EDP, but this fragrance right here is just forget it. It's a little bit more mature. It's not as sweet as the others. That being said, it just draws people in. Another couple options, if you want to get close, you want a signature scent that is going to be masculine, then check out Tom Ford. He's got his Noir Extreme, and then we've got the Noir Extreme, the Parfum version. And to be clear, gents, you don't need both. I just happen to own them because I wanted to know the difference. I actually like the classic Extreme better than the new Parfum version. I felt that the Extreme was just a little bit earthier and more masculine. This one was just sweeter. If you know fragrances, if you know my videos, you guys know I absolutely love Tom Ford fragrances. I think they're sexy. I think they're attractive, alluring. So if you want those deeper, richer, just get close to me type fragrances, check out this house. Now, what about Emporio Armani's Stronger With You? There's a lot of flankers out there. I keep going back to the original. The Intense one is actually pretty good as well. But what I like about this one is it's got a unique nut note to it. So if you don't like nuts, you would still probably like this fragrance. It just has a really nice mix. And I initially did not give this fragrance the time of day because I hated the name. Seriously, SWY would be better. But Stronger With You, I eventually tried it and I realized I was missing out. Such a great date fragrance. One that, yeah, it's magnetic. People want to get close and you're going to get compliments. Now, if all the fragrances I talked about sound like they're too much, too overpowering, too heavy, you want something you could actually even wear in the summer on a date, check out Acqua di Gio's. This is going to be the absolute. This one flew under the radar, but is the sexiest of all the Acqua di Gio's. And Acqua di Gio fragrances in general are very versatile, easy to wear, and good for hot weather. Now, speaking of Acqua di Gio, some of you guys are going to say, well, isn't that just a simple all-around Great fragrance for wearing to casual events? I would say yes. So if you want a no-brainer fragrance to wear on the weekends, when you're going out with friends, when you're just running errands around town, then check out the EDP. This is the new modern version. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I think it's better than the Parfum. The Parfum came out and a lot of people thought that this was replacing, Profumo. I don't know if they were trying to do that. It was supposed to be smokier, but I didn't find it. Yeah, I think the EDP is just better. It's cleaner, it's easier to wear, and would be my pick. That being said, I'm not going to say the Parfum is bad. So if you get the chance, you go into a store, try them on, or again, I talked about Scentbird, get some samples sent to you so that you can try these fragrances. Now let's jump to a house we haven't covered yet. Carolina Herrera, and I'm going to talk about Cobalt. So the Bad Boy line has a lot of deep, rich, heavy fragrances, which would be great if you want to wear them to a date, you want to wear them out, to meet the ladies, you're out dancing tearing up the floor. If you want something that is just easy to wear, it has a unique note of plum, I would say check out Cobalt. It actually has great longevity as well, decent projection, and for me, this is a great weekend fragrance that a guy could wear in almost any situation. Now, the next fragrance on this list is made by a house that makes a lot of mass appealing fragrances, and they're not super original. In fact, if you ever got your nose on this fragrance, Legend, you'll know that it's very similar to Abercrombie and Fitch's Fierce, and that was really popular in the 90s. I think they made it a little bit more modern, and it's more affordable, easy to find. But if you're going to check out the Legend, check out the new, this is the EDP version, this is the EDT version. The EDP lasts longer. I think it's got a little bit more character and is an absolutely beautiful fragrance that is, again, a no-brainer going out with your friends. That being said, if that sounds boring, you want something a little bit better for hot weather, something that's a little bit fresher, more of a citrus note in it, check out the red version. I think that this one it's grown on me initially. I didn't think that much of it, but it is just a no-brainer fragrance. Again, for a guy maybe that is getting his first fragrance that he doesn't want to think about, he wants to be able to wear and just wear pretty much to any situation, this would be an easy pick. Now, really quick, I want to explain seasonality. You're going to hear this in fragrances that some fragrances are more of a summer scent, other ones are more of a winter scent. What does that mean? You can wear any fragrance you want at any point, whether it's made for a man or a woman, or if it's designed for the spring, but you want to wear it in the fall. Most people feel that heavy, more oppressive fragrances that just have more of a deeper scent profile. Hot weather fragrances, we're going to see citruses, we're going to see light florals. On the heavier side, you're going to see fragrances that have tonka bean, that have like a syrup type of feel to them, that are going to be sweeter in general, that maybe are going to have a smoky accord, are going to be just leather. Those are going to be ones we're going to geared more towards the fall and the winter, the cooler seasons. Again, you don't have to abide by that, but usually when you see a fragrance that's going to be a sport, that's going to be a cologne, anything that's going to say water splash, that's going to be geared more towards hot weather, the summer. Anything that's going to be an elixir, anything that's going to be deep, rich, heavy, that is going to be geared more towards the fall and winter. Now, really quick, let's talk about body chemistry. The reality is certain notes and certain fragrances in their formulations react differently on different people. So you may be someone that, you put Koros on and it disappears. That's a very rare person that happens on, but this one is going to have more of an animalistic, strong. Some guys, it's going to smell great on. Other people are going to be repulsed by it and it's going to lower their confidence, and they shouldn't wear a fragrance like this. Where if you're getting new into fragrances, I do recommend stay away from the animalistic fragrances and go more for the classic crowd-pleasing fragrances. Burberry Touch. This one has been around for almost 20 years and it is a classic for good reason. Everybody, it just seems to work with most people, with most skin types. Maybe it doesn't project a whole lot, but it's a simple aromatic. This is something you can just put more on your skin to get more projection. Now, what about for anniversaries? What about for special events? So my friend Steven over at Redolessence brought up a story of how he took a trip with his wife on a boat and he bought a new fragrance and he wore it for like an entire week when he was on that boat trip with his wife. And that was Bad Boy by Carolina Herrera. And for him, he associated with that trip, with that memory, with that event with his wife. So I would say there are probably maybe certain fragrances that just bring back memories. Don't be afraid to wear those, to bring them back, and to save them for those special occasions. My wife and I, our anniversary is in February. And so for me, when I'm wearing sweaters, and I like to wear this fragrance with those sweaters, I guess it just accidentally attached. But one that I also am attached to is going to be Black Orchid. This one by Tom Ford is a very sensual fragrance. I love the complexity. My wife actually doesn't, absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So I wear it enough that she's now associated this one with me. Now, getting back to special occasions, let's talk about graduations. So graduations usually happening in the spring, maybe early summer. I'm thinking something bright, something festive. Right here, we've got John Varvatos, Artisan Pure. This is an easy pick. That top citrus, overall, it's a very clean, simple fragrance, one that is just going to be bright and just bring happiness to anyone that smells it. Another simple, clean, easy, versatile fragrance from a house I haven't talked about, we got Bulgari's Man. Now, there are variations. I think Glacial Essence could also have been a great pick here. My only issue with Bulgari is I think a lot of their fragrances don't have much lasting power and they're overpriced for what you get. Now, this next option I think makes for a great gift as well for a young man that just graduates. Again, these are going to be very easy to wear, versatile fragrances that you could even wear into the office, which we'll talk about next. But Open Road by Coach or Dolce & Gabbana's K. Now, don't get both. They are very similar to each other. And what I love about them is they're fresh, clean, but they have a bit of spice that just tickles the nose. And speaking of fragrances that tickle the nose, what if you want something that is going to be memorable? You're going out with a group of friends, but there's one in particular that you want her to notice you, to get close to, hey, wow, you smell really good. You smell unique. And for her to remember this scent profile. Gents, if that's the situation, check out Viktor & Rolf's Spice Bomb. Now, this fragrance can be overpowering and it's more geared towards the fall, winter, something to wear whenever it's cool outside. But the accords here, warm, spicy cinnamon, tobacco with a sweet, soft spice mixed in with leather and just a touch of citrus. It's a very distinctive fragrance. And one, again, if you're competing against the Versace Eroses, you're competing against some of those loud fragrances out there, you will stand out because it's going to be the spice that really just, it makes this one unique. And it's not a top 10 seller, so you don't have to worry about as many guys wearing this one. Now, in that same category is something that's really unique. And this one is not going to be for everybody, so get your nose on it before you buy it, is Paco Rabanne's Phantom. Now, I've got both the EDT, or this is the EDP. This is the Parfum version. I'm not sure if this was an EDT or an EDP. Both of them have a really nice citrus top, but it's interesting because they're mixed in with deeper, richer, heavier notes. In particular, the Parfum does this really well. And yes, I know the bottle is a bit tacky, but if you could look beyond it, it's a solid pickup. Now, if you're not into any of those little boy colognes, you want something that's mature. You want something that, yeah, if she's into you, she's going to be into you, and she's going to love the way you smell. Check out Antaeus by Chanel. Now, straight up, this is an animalistic fragrance, but it does it really well. It's very elegant, probably more elegant than some of the other animalistic fragrances out there. And if you want something you can dress up, you can dress down, and is going to be uniquely you, check this one out. Now, what if you want a fragrance that takes you back into nature? Something that just is going to be relaxing. Check out Bulgari's Terra Essence. Another great pick is going to be Gucci Guilty's Absolute Pour Homme. Both of those fragrances are going to have a strong earthy component. So if that's not you, you definitely want to get your nose on them before buying them. But I find them absolutely beautiful and captivating. That being said, if you don't want to smell like dirt, but you still like the idea of something earthy, then check out Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver. This is going to be the new Parfum. The original one is just as good. This one's just a little bit more expensive, comes in a more silver bottle. Or check out Hermes's H24. Now, the H24, the Parfum version, that one right there is a little bit too mossy for me. This one just has the right amount of moss, and I feel has a little bit more of a metallic note. And again, very wearable, very easy, go-to, versatile fragrance. Gents, in general, what'd you think of today's list? What did I miss? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear from you. So what video to watch next? Well, what about wearing a fragrance to the gym? I didn't talk about this occasion because I created a whole video on it. Check it out. I think it's a solid video. And yeah, should you wear a fragrance to the gym? Guys, find out in this video right here. Oh yeah.